All right, so it's talking about the mode for group data. We know that the mode is the most frequently occurring value. The difference here with group data is we're going to have to identify what we refer to as the modal class, right? Remember, for group data, we're going to have a table where we have the different intervals, class intervals, and we'd have the frequency of each interval. Now, we need to identify which class is the modal class. The modal class is usually the class with the greatest or highest frequency. Yeah? So we're going to identify what that class is, and then we need to apply this formula that I have on screen here to calculate what the modal class is. Now, the formula looks a bit intimidating, but it's not really. All we need to do is know what each one of these variables stands for. So similar to calculating the median, L is looking at the lower boundary of the modal class. So we're going to take that class, that modal class that we have identified, and we're going to take the lower boundary, which is 0.5 less than the lower limit. F1 is going to be the frequency of the modal class. So that's whatever the frequency is of that particular class. F0 would be the frequency before the modal class. And F2 would be the frequency after the modal class. All right? So once we identify those, we will then be plugging those into the formula. W is our class width. And we will be able to work out what the mode is. Now, this is better understood with an example. So I have a very simple example here where let's just say that I've identified the modal class to be the class 5 to 9 and the frequency 7. This is all we really need. We just need to have the modal class, the frequency of that class, and obviously the frequency before and after. So this is based on a table that we looked at previously. Let me just see if I could get it right. This is the table here. So the modal class is 5, 9. We see that it has the highest, but let's just assume that this is the highest frequency. And I'm going to plug some values in here and show you how to use it. Let us assume that the modal class is 5, 9. So my lower class boundary is going to be 4.5, 0.5 less than this 5. Right? So 5 minus 0.5 will give me 4.5. Let us assume that the frequency is 7 of that particular class, of the modal class. And let's say I'm giving you the frequency of the class before as 4 and the frequency of the class after as 5. The class width is found by taking our upper boundary, upper limit minus our lower limit and add 1. So 4 plus 1 will give us 5. And we are plugging these values into the formula. So this is my L value. This here is my F1 value minus my F0 value. And then we have 2 multiplied by this, right? So you want to bracket this off. Because what you want to do is work out inside of here first and then multiply by that number, right? So we get 3 over 5, right? 7 minus 4 give us 3. 3 minus 5, negative 2. Sorry, my bad. You're going to find twice F1. That's my pen. So 2 times F1. This is where the bracket is going to be. Right? 2 times that minus 4 minus 5. So we're looking at 14 minus 9. And that's giving us this value of 5 here. Right? We're going to multiply that by the class width. Right? This is why we have the width on this side here, and then we work that out. So 4.5 plus 3 over 5 by 5. We're going to get 4.5 plus 3, and that'll give us 7.5. Everybody okay with that? Let's look at a practice question, right? We're going to do this together. So find the mode for this data. So we have these different class intervals here. Just going to make it a little smaller. We need to identify the modal class. The modal class is the class with the greatest frequency. Right? The class with the highest frequency is this one right here. Right? Now let's think about the different values we need. We need a L, which is our lower class boundary. So 6, which is my lower limit, minus 0.5 will give me 5.5. So that's my L value. My F1, right? F1 to the formula here. F1 minus F0 and F2. F1 is my frequency of the modal class. So F1 is the frequency of the modal class, which is 6. F0 is the frequency of the class before the modal class. Right? F0 frequency before the modal class. So before the modal class, this is here. This is my F0. This is my F1. And this is my F2 underneath here. So F0 is 3. F2 is 4. And if we need to work out our class width W, class width could be your upper class boundary minus your lower class boundary, or it could be the lower class limit, the upper class limit minus the lower class limit plus 1. Any one of these formulas could work to calculate your width, right? I'll just go with the upper class boundary, 10.5 minus 6.5. And that will give me a total of what? Not 6.5. It's supposed to be 5.5. My God. Lower class boundary, 5.5. You give me a class width of 5. Right, that a little better. Right. Now our formula for the mode is equal to the lower class boundary plus F1 minus F0 over 2 by F1 minus F0 minus F2 multiplied by W. All right, so L plus F1 minus F0 all over 2F1 minus F0 minus F2 multiplied by W. Yeah? So I would suggest when doing a question like this, you identify all of these values beforehand. Right, this is our W here. You then put your formula and then you plug in your values. So L is 5.5. F1 we said is 6 minus 3. Going on top, we want to put a little bracket here, right? And then we have 2 by 6 minus F0 is 3. F2 is 4. Multiplied by 5. Right? The bracket is very important because we need to understand the order in which it is we're going to be working this out. Cool? So that will give me what? 5.5 plus 6 take away 3 on top is going to give me 3. Let's look out the underneath. 2 by 6 is 12. 12 take away 3 give me 9. Take away 4 would give me 5. And we're multiplying this by 5. This is still in our bracket right now. That will give me 5.5 plus we could cancel these two here. Cancel, cancel. Yeah, 1, a 1. Now I give me 3. So my answer is supposed to be 8.5. That's the mode of this particular class, right? Now there's a difference between identifying the modal class and finding the mode. Identifying the modal class just means looking for the class with the greatest frequency, right? That's how we identify the modal class. If we are asked to find the mode, right? If we are asked to find the mode, then we're going to be using this formula here. All right, and that's how we find the mode.